I'm going to give you some information about what's going on in your system, why you might be feeling a little bit confused, and perhaps some physical sensations that might be moving through your system, but also could be supported with some attention. Hi, I'm Veronica Lee. This is your weekly transformational forecast for the week of February 28th, 2022. So what's going on in your system? A lot of things are moving, and it reminds me very much of spring coming. In that, it feels like there's that sensation of blossoming happening. So if you are in areas that the sun is coming out, but then it rains, but then the sun comes out again, you might be noticing some blossoms. And the daffodils and cherry blossoms might be saying, hey, it's time. And in essence, it's not exactly time, but we're getting close. So in your own system, there may be that urging or that feeling that it's time, but not quite. So it's okay to, put out some shoots, to, experience some blossoming, but also to recognize the patience that is required, and that there may be some elements that come in that kind of shake it up a little bit, that don't allow for the full blossoming just yet. In terms of why there may be some confusion, it's very much related in that when you feel like you are being called or you are getting messages from the divine, and it's sort of this like, yes, things are going, or there's that feeling of it's time to go, and yet you're not feeling fully supported, like things aren't just lining up easily, then it may be kind of confusing. The other reason that you might be feeling a little confusion is that the energies are constantly changing right now. So it may be that there are times where you're feeling supported and things are like shoring up in your system or in your life or in your schedule, right? Things are kind of coming together, but then suddenly it'll feel like the ground's been pulled out from underneath you, or things feel very chaotic. And it's that ebb and flow or contraction and expansion energy that can feel very unpredictable. And especially when you are on a spiritual path, there can be a sense that, oh, I've really, developed this relationship with my spiritual path, or I've just discovered this new thing that's, really feeling resonant, and a belief that therefore everything should sort of fall into place. But in essence, what's happening is so many people are awakening right now that in and of itself is almost causing a ripple effect of change and almost like moving the whole sea of everything, right? So it's like if everybody jumps into the pool at the same time, the waters just sort of lift, and then they may settle down, and then you get a whole bunch of new people jumping in the pool, and it just sort of moves things around. So that energy of constant shifting and constant movement is happening in our energetic field, and part of it has to do with so many people waking up. In terms of what's going on in your body, definitely some new energies around the head, the crown area, because this is where oftentimes we will experience our guides or our connection to source. And so if you are feeling as if there, maybe you're having headaches recently, or there's like a band around your head, or maybe even there's tingling at the top of, your crown, a lot of those symptoms are related to your connection or reconnection to higher states of consciousness, to your higher self, to your source energy. So those are some of the sensations. And what happens when we connect in a new way to these higher forms of consciousness, it can sort of shake up the physical system in general. So it could be that maybe you're a little bit more tired, or it could be that as light is coming into your physicality, that the areas that were misaligned are starting to realign, and there can feel like there's some wobbliness in there, right? So maybe some aches and pains are moving their way through as the light comes into your being. So with that, there is a lot going on, and yet there's also the sense, it's sort of that paradox, in which things are happening and they are moving in the direction that feels, sort of like this emergence, but at the same time, a sort of not quite ready because the elements are still not doing what they need to do to support the whole. So with that, well, and I will say, they are always supporting the whole. We are always being fully supported. It's just not necessarily in our mind's time or in what we're wanting, but in the overall picture of being held, because our souls are absolutely completely wise, know exactly what we need, and keeps us on course, even if we go kicking and screaming. So anyway, with that, we'll see you next week.